reporting on the games you love by people who love to game. The MMO Reporter Network.
You're logging into your favorite game, grinding out some gear. A couple of points added to your stats, and you have a virtual beer. Max level is pretty cool, but I'll remind you here, my friend. These games are not about the goal, it's about the journey and not the end.
You're listening to MMO Reporter, brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download at audibletrial.com/MMO Reporter. And by Doghouse Systems. Choose your weapon with Doghouse Systems.
Don't forget about your ults you need to cherish. Each and every little character you've got, no matter what level they're at. Don't forget about your ults.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of MMO Reporter. This is episode 241. I am joined by the incomparable master of all things two-legged, otherwise known as pants, Mr. Leonor. Hello, Leonor.
Hello. How are you today, Sir Chris Iman?
I'm doing very good, thank you very much. And of course, none other than the master of all things, Bill. Hi, Bill.
I think I want you to call me Billimon. I think this should be the Digimon episode.
You can keep hoping and keep wanting. Doesn't mean it's gonna happen.
Does that make me haircut you? What? I don't know.
Harrymon. Nope. Nope. Harry Hall. Hi, Harry.
Hi.
You are one Harry Hole.
Oh.
That's original. I haven't heard that before.
Thank you.
I was going to say it took 241 episodes, and it's finally landed.
Nothing gets by Chris.
No, that's why I never mind. Moving along, because we absolutely need to, because we've got lots to talk about today. Let's talk about what we've been doing in game. Why don't you start, Leonor?
Okay, I've been playing Dark Souls. I've been doing a Let's Play for that for quite a while, and I'm very close to the end of that game. And holy hell, is that game hard?
Yes.
I've heard that.
Wow.
I believe it's transcended into memedom, actually, how hard that game is.
I've gotten to the point where I just record 4 or 5 episodes in one day and then grind the rest of the week.
Huh.
That's how I'm getting through this game.
Wow.
Leonor, this just in. The sky is blue. Oh.
If only I could see it.
Aw.
There was another game that I played during the week. It was something that I got from Humble Bundle quite a while ago, and I love shooters, and this game is a shooter. It's called Savant the Ascent, I think it's called. And it's only a couple levels long, and it's a 2D game, but the sprite work on it is really, really cool, and it's super fast. I put a link in the show notes if you want to see the video. I don't know if you got that running or not.
I do.
It's insane. It's so fast.
Well, it looks like a combination between a side scroller and one of the old, 1941. Remember the old arcade plane game where you go along and shoot things and...
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like 1941 and Smash TV.
Yeah. Totally.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I forget what the name is for that genre of game where you're just kind of going from the bottom to the top or the left to the right and shooting things.
Or shoot 'em up. Bullet hell shooter.
Bullet hell. That's what I was looking for. Because when you first said shooter, I'm like, oh, it's a first-person shooter. No, it's not. Yeah. So anyways, it looks really interesting.
Okay, and then after that... I didn't have really much time to get into kind of MMOs this week, but I did go into Lotro to look at Minas Tirith, and Minas Tirith is absolutely huge. You guys know when Lotro comes out with a new zone, it's a really huge zone.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
This town is the really huge zone.
Wow.
That's how big this thing is. So it's 7 tiers that go up a mountain. You guys seen the movies.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
This thing is absolutely gorgeous. And then when you look off away from it, you can see all of the mountains over there with dark smoke and clouds and lightning and stuff past the mountains.
So you can see
Nice.
Mordor.
Yes. Very close.
I heard a
Very,
laugh
very
there.
close. That was a lot of rolling.
If they're actually reaching Mordor, I think I'll jump back in because it's kind of unsatisfying to only have come halfway.
Right.
So
I'm thinking I'm going to jump in just for no other reason than I have to take a flying leap off the royal pedestal there just to see. Like this is what I do in Lotro is I find the amazing vistas from the books and the movies and I jump off them.
Now,
there should be an achievement for that in the game.
There
Are
should be.
achievements
is
now?
there
are.
a class that can light itself on fire?
There are festival emotes.
There you go, and you could run. Okay, but here's the thing, guys. We won't be the first ones to do that.
I was going to
no.
say you probably have to wait in line to do that. Actually,
It is Lotro. There's probably an orderly queue.
That's true.
Probably.
Yeah, ready
It's
to
one of
go.
the best communities ever. That's true.
Yeah. Oh no, you go first. No, you go first. And that's been going on since the first day. Nobody's jumped off because everybody's waiting for everybody else to go first.
excuse
It's
me.
not Canada.
Could someone light me on fire, please? I think I'm going out.
Oh, I love.
Can
Lotro.
I be Stuart next? Dang.
Well, it sounds like you've been a busy boy. What about you, Bill? What's been keeping you
I've
busy?
not been busy. I've been dreaming about playing games. I did my token Guild Wars 2 runs. I've actually gotten a really good moneymaker process going through by running events through the Silver Waste. That seems to be able to. I can knock that out really quick, and in half an hour, I usually have between 5 and 10 gold made, which maybe doesn't sound like a lot to people who know what they're doing, but it sounds like a lot to me. So I'm pleased with myself there. And I just because I needed to put something else in my playlist because it's actually starting to get embarrassing. I played threes. I pulled out my phone and I played threes.
Goodbye, boy.
and I
It's
got-
a very good game.
It is a very good game. I got there. I think I my best score was like 2,200 or something like that, 2197 to be precise. So, meh. That's threes.
Speaking of Guild Wars 2, I did post my sort of impressions of the expansion, and it generated quite a bunch of discussion on Reddit and in the comments on the actual YouTube video itself, but mostly on Reddit. And it is very divisive. There's some people who agreed completely, and there's some people who disagreed equally as completely. So it's really cool. It seems like there's a lot of discussion about the expansion. Most people saying that, pretty much what I am. Yeah, it's really well done. Everything is really, really great. But I liked X about the original game and I can't do that anymore. Right? Or I like the way I could do this and I can't do that anymore. So go check it out.
Yeah.
Add your comments to it.
I heard a friend of mine who used to like Guild Wars 2, and he says, "What I feel like I'm stuck in ore when I'm in the new zone."
Yep.
And he says, "I miss the feeling of something fun going on around me all the time." And I, for the life of me, don't understand this, but it's apparently you're not the only one, and I think missing the hearts in a big major zone is, I think, a big part of it.
Well,
People need more guidance, I think.
Here's the thing. They said that level 1 to 80 was going to be the same as everything else at 80. They said that through their whole design philosophy all the way along. And now playing through Heart of Thorns is not the same experience as I got going through the vanilla game. And I know that people were asking for harder content. I understand that. But everybody got harder content. Like Ore, which was harder than the rest of the zones, this is all harder content. I was happy with the difficulty level before. It would have been nice if they had the harder content for the people who wanted it and more of a similar challenge level for the people like me who were happy with that. They don't. Everything's a little harder.
Yeah. I don't mind the harder content. Like I think there's something to feeling challenged by it, and to me that's a good thing. That said, in a compromising kind of way, just so it doesn't seem like I'm always disagreeing with you about everything, because I kind of do, but that's fine. I can see where it's coming from, and I think the wiser path would have been to actually scale. Like if they did 3 new zones that for running around in. Why not make each of those zones kind of progressively more difficult and actually like make Verdant Brink really at the same level as Ore, and then Auric Basin a step above that, and so forth. That probably would have been the way to make everybody happy, or at least try to make most people happy.
And make it less of a wall that you run into when you first enter the zone.
Yep. All right, we've talked about this a lot, so I appreciate your thoughts on that, guys. Would love to hear from our listeners. Either comment on the YouTube video. I'll put a link underneath Bill's what he did in game here, so that you can.
I thought you were going to say something else.
So that you can comment, or comment on this show, or Twitter, or whatever. Harry, what have you been doing to keep yourself? You've been away for a bit.
Well, yeah, the thing is, I'm kind of busy with my my new career as a stand-up comedian.
Star Stage
which
and
is,
Screen.
Well, and I did a little movie, and actually that is true.
Star Stage and Screen.
It sounds so terrible. It was a very short student movie, and I was an extra. So let's please, there are no awards in my
Star Stage and Screen.
future. Anyway, but it's fun. So that's been taking a lot of my time. Somebody is actually deleting my list of what I've been playing in game.
Not at all.
No.
Oh no, the fat man is put in its place. Anyway, so what I've been playing, would you please quit moving around the damn list?
That's Bill.
Yeah.
So you know.
Yeah. Stop it, Bill.
Okay.
Okay. Will this list stay at this point so I can see what I'm actually gonna say?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so I've been playing Moon Mist, the 1986 classic Infocom text adventure.
Wow. And what brought this about? And on what console or method are you playing it?
Actually, it's kind of a long story, which I won't bore you with. So I've always had a thing for text adventures, because that's what one of the first types of games I played and fell in love with gaming.
Yes.
So a couple of weeks ago, a friend of mine did a radio documentary for Dutch radio, and one of his guests on the show was Father Roderick. He is a famous internet priest.
Yeah, I know him.
Weird word. He's a very nice guy, by the way, and he actually in the documentary just made his passing remark about playing text adventures as a kid, and that kind of resonated. I thought, I not only did I play them, I created them, and I was part of the the interactive fiction scene back in the early 2000s. I was very into that, and I thought I missed that. I missed the offline, completely relaxing, lost in your own mind type of gameplay, and I've been playing a couple of the more modern interactive fiction games, and I went back to some of the Infocom games, and I'm playing that on the Mac with a freeware interpreter. If you are so inclined, you can play all these games. There is actually, and this is surprising to me, Activision has released an iOS version of the Infocom, the Lost Treasures of Infocom, for $9.99.95. You have all the Infocom classic games except Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, I think. Which is, I think it's a rights issue. I don't know. I'm not. But all the other games, including all the maps and all the Invisiclues and all so there's the entire package on your iPad or on your iPhone, which is an amazing deal. And if you were even slightly interested in that, just get that package. I had the original games already, so I'm just playing the story file on a modern computer, which is fun. It's a lot of fun.
Awesome.
That looks amazing. All the Zorks are in there. I remember those. Planetfall. Oh, that's cool. I'm a kid again.
And very excellently playable on a mobile device. The only thing that is kind of awkward is you need to map these games out. So this game, this package also includes the maps. So that would be You could call it cheating. In modern times, it might not even be anymore. But it gives away a bit of the game if you already look at the entire map. But if you're playing on a mobile phone and you need to map it out, you still need graph paper. I mean,
Yep. The feels of
the feeling of graph paper, a pencil in one hand, cup of coffee next to it, and then staring at the screen and looking at the map and making little boxes in the connecting lines and writing all the objects down that you find and examining everything. I mean, it's
1989 again. This is awesome.
It's glorious. It is absolutely and the feeling you get from playing it. It's a mixture of just immersing yourself in a nice story and still playing. And it is, and if once you get past the culture shock of not having uber graphics in front of you, it becomes quite immersive. You do really feel like you're in an interactive environment. It's not limiting. The fact that a text-based parser is a much more versatile interface than a controller could ever be, because you can just say what you want to do.
You know, I kind of pride myself on not relying on a game's good graphics to.
I was just taking a sip of my coffee. I did this.
So what you're saying is Chris owes you a new MacBook now?
But honestly, I'm listening. I'm nodding politely, and I'm thinking, yeah, no, I'm good. And I'm sure I know there's other people out there like me. I know I'm not the only one.
But Chris, what if you can hook up the Oculus Rift to it?
And then I can see the text in 3D. Ooh, then we're getting somewhere.
You know, it's.
Did I just make Harry Hall stutter? Chris, you're a moron.
I can understand that reading is hard for you.
Hey, I can move my finger along a page just as good as anyone else.
No, if you're just in your room just playing these games, nobody minds if you just move your lips while you're reading the text from the screen. There is no shame in.
Well,
a little.
how am I supposed to sound out the words if I'm not moving my lips when I talk?
Anyway,
nom 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 nom.
All right, moving on.
Anyway, I'm well aware that this is not everybody's genre of games, but it is a mistake to
Everybody's
just
what? Sorry?
It's a good way of playing.
I just want to hear you say genre again.
Genre.
There, okay, that was better.
What did I say?
Like genre.
I think there was just lag on the
okay.
Genre is the same word in Dutch as it is in English because it is French.
It's
So let's not.
which really in French it's genre.
Well, you can. Are you actually going to attack my French pronunciation now?
Well, you don't have an English accent. What am I supposed to attack?
Damn it. Okay. So I played
Welcome
Number
back, by the way.
Muncher, apparently. I have no idea what that game is, but somebody put it on my list. Thank you.
You know what? You had it on your list, so I'm sitting here with a video ready to go of Number Muncher, all good to play, so that I can show our audience.
Play the video. Play the video.
I am playing the video.
Somebody is just sabotaging. Yes, I said sabotaging my list.
Sabotage.
Yeah. You know where the word came from, right?
Yes.
It's a Beastie Boys song, right?
It is.
Move along.
That's the
Move
first
along.
historical.
Harry, next, Harry. Next.
And then I did play Fallout 2, but that's a little bit. Jesus Christ. Okay. I played Fallout 4. And even though I'm still not enjoying it very much, I did have a very interesting experience. The game is obvious. This is not a spoiler in any way. It is set in Boston, in the Boston area. And I was quite surprised. I didn't really know the lay of the land. When you start the game, you don't have a frame of reference of where you are. But then all of a sudden, I went through Cambridge and I went over the bridge across the Charles and I saw the skyline of Boston.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I saw Boston as I know. I've been there twice and I've spent about a week exploring the city. So I'm not saying I'm a native, but I know the city a little bit. So it was very interesting to actually see the city and recognize landmarks. And also finding out that the bridge in the game is about 6 feet long, while the actual bridge over the Charles takes several minutes to cross.
Yeah.
So the scale is kind of off. But it was very fun to actually come into the city, or at least you come near Fenway Stadium, and that was exactly where my hotel was located.
Yeah.
So the place that I entered the city was the place that I actually spent some time walking around in real life, and that makes it kind of enhanced the experience for me. It became more than this anonymous rubble of post-apocalyptic nightmare hellscape. It became my post-apocalyptic nightmare hellscape. So that was fun. And then the game happened, and I was kind of mad again. So I'm still not. I've spent 8 hours in the game trying to actually fall in love with it, and it's not happening.
Aww.
I'm just not happy with it. I played Rise of the Tomb Raider on the Xbox One, which is an amazing game. I can recommend it to everybody. Play Tomb Raider first, the reboot. But it's basically when you play Rise of the Tomb Raider, it feels like the first part was a prototype. Like they were all those systems in the first game, and when I say first game, I mean a reboot, obviously, not the first Tomb Raider. It feels like all those systems were there, but not really fleshed out, and now they flesh everything out, and it's one of my favorite Uncharted game. So, and finally, I'm currently in the middle of reviewing Construction Simulator 2015.
Really?
Yeah.
You sound so excited, Harry.
Okay. There is this episode of Family Guy where Lois's father is in a digger, and he's angry at Peter, and he says, "You like this bench? I'm going to destroy this bench." And then he takes 5 minutes to actually line up the digger to actually hit the bench.
Yeah.
And the entire scene is just him going back and forth, and that's Construction Simulator.
Yeah.
It is utterly boring and buggy. There is actually this moment you have to drive trucks and heavy equipment, and this is like basically like using chopsticks with boxing gloves. This is the amount of precision you have, and then after fiddling, you have to load something up on a loader with a forklift. That went well. Then I have to take it off again. It didn't. The only way I could do it was just knock it off with the thing of the digger, and it said, "Okay, you unloaded it." And then I had to load something else on. It's a really fascinating game.
You know, I was thinking, well, you could run around and destroy stuff.
No, you can't, because I'll get to that later. But the first thing is, you have to line up to load some big bin of gravel onto your flat truck, and all of a sudden the game says, "You know what? I'll line it up for you." So I think, oh, that's easy. Then the truck flips over. And this has happened several times. Then I restart the game, and then the truck is stuck in scenery. And you said you can destroy anything. It was stuck between a traffic sign and some wire. I don't know. And we're talking about a truck here, and you can't make a dent in anything. It's actually, and you have to do missions that are completely incomprehensible because the tooltip that tells you where to go is up there for 5 microseconds and just disappears, and there's no way to get it back. It is so boring. It is so boring.
You know, they make a farm simulator game too that's apparently so popular, they have now got a peripheral for it.
A goat?
No. Have you not seen the farm simulator wheel and joystick that they've got for it? You haven't seen it?
I have not. I might have fallen asleep while watching it. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's it blows me away that because I'm so not into it. Here, I'll bring it over here onto this window there, so you can see it if you look at the stream. It'll be popping up in just a second here. There we go.
Does that work with the snowplow simulator as well?
I don't know, but yeah, it's a
now you're
real-
interested.
Joking.
If I can use it with a snowplow simulator as well, then it's a whole good deal.
yeah, $300 by the way. Wheel, pedals, joystick, and a whole bunch of buttons.
It is very uninteresting, and I still have to play more of it because after about 2 hours of playing, I first started playing it on the Mac and the thing crashed, so I had to go through all the tutorial missions again. I don't understand why people enjoy this. I really don't. There is a reason I am a writer and I'm not sitting in a truck moving bricks around. It's because I don't want to do that.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you had so much excitement building stuff.
And finally, and somebody erased this from my list, but I'm putting it back in. Damn it. Elite Dangerous. I've played a little bit of Elite Dangerous, but I'm in a beta, and I tried to figure out how to land, but apparently you need some special equipment for that. So I, like a fool, just flew towards a planet and didn't get anywhere. I'm still not. I'm kind of for a very brief moment. I thought, oh, this is what Chris feels like when he can't fire his guns.
I'm okay.
So I just have to get back into that. I probably have to read a manual before I'm able to land, which would make sense to me. So that's what I'm doing.
You know what? Bill has beta access too. I have beta access. I have to talk about a couple things about Elite 2, though, because I was playing Elite on Xbox. I played a little bit of Horizons, and by play, I mean I installed the beta. I have not played even a second. But on Xbox, I was repositioning for my power. So I had a whole bunch of jumps that I was going through to reposition myself. And a lot of it was uninhabited space that I was jumping through. And I start looking at about half-empty fuel tank for stations. Every system I go to on my jumps, I look for... Because I don't have a fuel scoop because I'm a moron. But we've got...
Continue.
Yeah,
as long as we've established that.
So... I'm looking, but I start looking at half tank for a station. I actually got to experience what it's like to have to call the fuel rats. I was expecting more comments on that.
Tell us the fuel rats story.
The fuel rats, for those of you who don't know, are players who have volunteered their time to go out and refuel people who have run out of fuel. Now,
seriously?
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Oh, you didn't know about the fuel rats?
No, I didn't.
Oh,
this
you totally
is
looked at
evil
that.
line type community stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So, I'm not going to enjoy people adding to my list. Just so you know, I know Harry enjoyed it, but I'm not. Thanks. Yeah, they came out. I ran out of fuel on Xbox, so I went onto their IRC channel. I put in, they have a dispatch service. They look for rats that can come out and help you, and then you go and wait. Now, the thing is, I was on emergency oxygen already. I was 3.79 kilometers away from the station. 3.79 kilometers away when I ran out. And so I
How did you do that?
3.79 kilometers away. Anyways.
That seems like
flown in on inertia.
momentum should have taken you there.
Oh, no, you know what? The minute you run out of fuel, you stop completely. Like, it's not like you hit a wall, but you automatically start slowing down.
But that's weird because if you just cut your engines, you will drift on momentum
Right,
anyway.
maybe I should have had turned off flight assist. Maybe that's what did it.
Yes.
And so if I had not had flight, but then I still wouldn't have been able to line myself up to land. It was an outpost.
Anyway, continue with the few rats. Yeah.
So they dispatched some people out. They came to try to help me. Unfortunately, I had too short of amount of time left in my emergency oxygen. I blew up. They were there, ready, but then I logged back in and we couldn't get it done in time. Most people are smart enough to contact them before they're on emergency oxygen. And so, yeah. So here's a tip: if you run out of fuel or you're close to running out of fuel, contact the fuel rats first. So
How do you pay them?
You don't. They don't expect any payment.
You're kidding.
No.
Damn communists.
And
Space commies.
yeah. So that was interesting. Really enjoying the experience. I'm going to approach the game completely differently. On Horizons, I'm going to be doing much more missions and like trying to build up a commercial empire, maybe mining and planetary landing, that sort of stuff. Whereas with Xbox, I'm going to go very powers oriented and try and really push my standing within that power. So yeah. Anyways, that's my Elite Dangerous bits.
I'm so happy that people are doing this. This is what I want.
And they have it
game.
on PC and Xbox. They have rats in both venues, both consoles, both
versions
of the game. Yeah,
universes.
Yeah, it's really cool. I'm really impressed with that. So, fuel rats are awesome.
There was actually a guy who did a circumnavigation of the galaxy.
Oh wow!
Did you hear that?
No.
It was a news item on the official news site. So somebody who just flew around the galaxy and went even through it, went to the black hole at the center, but actually all around the galaxy. That's
wow.
Like thousands and thousands of stars discovered. Really,
wow.
Like almost a year of flight time.
Jeez. That's absolutely crazy.
Yeah,
in a good way. I'm happy that he's happy. And had fun and stuff.
I'm jealous. I wish I had that amount of time to blow in a game.
No kidding.
Yeah.
And I've also, moving along here, I've also played Sword Coast Legends. I'm doing another playthrough on a mage on the most challenging difficulty level of the story. As I finish up, I just needed some more video content for my review. So I'm grabbing some more video content while I go through the hard mode run through on a different character. And last but not least, I got into the Crowfall Alpha. So I've been playing Crowfall and the Hunger Dome, the PvP environment that they've got created for their testing. And it's pretty cool. I'm really enjoying it. If you want more details about that, go check out Crowfall Reporter, which we just recorded about an hour and a half ago, 2 hours ago. So there you go. Go check it out. Crowfall.
Yeah.
I want to mention our patrons real quick, patreon.com/MMO Reporter, and you can become one of our closest friends. We've actually just opened up part of our Slack server for patrons. We've been having all sorts of conversations both about gaming and about other stuff. We're just keeping it to our patrons right now as we test out how this works with the network. So if you want to get involved in that, get into those chat rooms, then check out our Patreon campaign and we'll send you a message through there to invite you. Patreon.com/MMO Reporter.
Steal a thread off of the tank. Overhealing, you'll get no thanks. Too much DPS without a rest. Seeing if your healer is up to the test. Dumb ways to die. So many dumb ways to die.
All right, let's talk a little bit about some technology behind gaming. I found a story over on the Repopulation forums, not a story so much as a discussion, about the fact that the creators of the Hero Engine, which is both a graphics engine as well as, it's actually the graphics engine that drives SWTOR. It's also a cloud distribution, a cloud-based MMO hosting service as well for companies who maybe don't have the infrastructure, the hardware, or the funds to set up their own servers. They can use these services, the Hero Engine services, and have basically a full online hosting setup for their game. The company that makes the Hero Engine has unfortunately been having some financial difficulties, which meant that games like The Repopulation and Vision of Zosimos, which are both sort of Kickstarter in indie games almost in the indie games in the MMO market, they were both facing the possibility of being shut down either temporarily or permanently because of the issues that were going on with Hero Engine. Most companies, and I did a little bit of research originally thinking this was a graphics engine, but it's more than that. But most companies do all this stuff on their own. They host, not most. Let me rephrase that. Most AAA companies do all this stuff on their own. There are companies, for example, when you use a physics engine or anything like that, you're running your own servers, for example, for any of the physics engine stuff like Havoc Engine or stuff like that. You're going to run your own server for that. But some smaller companies, for those sorts of things, do call out to the original servers of the provider of that engine to get resources or to do some of the calculations or to run parts of the engine. So this is actually kind of a big deal for these small games because through no fault of their own, I know the Repopulation had to push back patches and was looking at having to bring their entire test servers down. This is kind of a big deal. Bill, I know you wanted to mention as well some of the cloud-based components of this, right?
Well, yeah, and it seems like a bit of a weird thing to me with the prevalence of cloud providers for infrastructure and that kind of thing, that a service would be so specialized that it wouldn't be better served to be in Amazon AWS or Azure or any of the other companies that are happy to just basically give you servers as you need them, take them down when you don't need them, kind of thing. It seems odd that to even come across a situation where an internet service like that would be completely shut down because there's no redundancy anywhere or no ability to kind of duplicate that service, that it's just dying because it was kept in somebody's server closet somewhere. And maybe I'm reading too deep into it, but that's the thing that I'm having a hard time reconciling in my mind there, that how it could possibly be a good business model to put your servers in your closet and hope nothing bad happens.
Well, but Harry said something good or prevalent, not prevalent, said something relevant in the pre-show about this. Can you repeat that for our listeners, Harry?
Well, you have to remind me
about podcasts. You compare podcasts.
Yeah. Well, that's it's the service that the Hero Engine provides is similar to, for example, Podbean, that they host your podcast. They make sure iTunes can reach it. All that stuff is done by Podbean servers, and all the editing and stuff you do on your own computer. Obviously, that's the same as the Hero Engine. The graphics engine and all the stuff is just your usual software running on your PC playing the game. It's just the server side stuff that's hosted by Hero Engine on a different computer. So if their servers go offline, then your game goes offline. If Podbean goes offline, your podcast goes offline. So it's that setup. So it's not that strange that a company makes, as Bill said, it's not strange for a company to use other people's servers for something like this. It's just very strange that this particular service seems to be unreliable.
And it's weird. I just want to draw a quick parallel here to another story that was in the news this week. And honestly, I'm getting back to the point here. You have to bear with me. But if you'd been following any kind of tech news this week, you'd know that VTech, which is a company that's mostly famous for making like fairly
crappy
cheap
computers,
computers, home electronics,
consoles,
phones, that kind of thing. They also make quite a significant line of children's toys, like little tablets and specific thing. But they were quite badly hacked this week. Well, they're apparently a very insecure company. They hacked. They lost a ton of customer data, including like children's profile data from these child toys and everything like that. And that's why it was kind of in the news, because apparently the children were victims as well. But it was kind of brought up as an example of a company that is good at making toys can't handle IT infrastructure. And it was kind of a signal to the rest of the world that, hey, if you're going to be in the game of the connected internet and playing in the game where you're going to have significant issues and hackers and security and that kind of thing, that you might have been perfectly successful in your old business of being a toy maker, you also need to be in the business of IT now. So in this case, we've got a company that was maybe perfectly successful in the business of making a game engine. Obviously, they weren't that tight when it comes to infrastructure and serving up infrastructure.
Yeah. And my question is, okay, so if the repopulation then is able to find another hosting provider for the game, their engine license for the graphics was probably tied up in everything that they had for the whole hosting package and everything like that as well. So if the company is
speculation.
It totally speculation, but that's what we do here at MMO Reporter, wild speculation, wild baseless speculation. Would that make it impossible for them to then only take the graphics engine part of it and keep the game going on a different hosting platform? Right, that's a possibility.
It's so hard to know what pieces of tech tie into what other pieces of tech, like what's replaceable and what's not.
Yeah,
like for all we know, this is so completely tied into the guts again that they almost have to start from scratch.
Right, and
really
the repopulate. Oh, go ahead.
Well, it just really depends on both their level of expertise and knowledge, and as Bill said, what's tied into what. I mean, this is a type of service that I could create an MMO on. And I'm not I can fiddle a bit with code, but I'm absolutely not a developer. But this is a type of service that I could slap together some 3D models in the world and a server system, and they would do all the hard work. So if the team is of that level of expertise, probably a little bit better than I am, then that would be then they would have they wouldn't be able to salvage much beyond starting from scratch in a different system. If they know what they're doing, they could just slap together a server of their own, and then they wouldn't need this whole stuff to deal with.
Yeah. The repopulation is being quite tight-lipped about what's going on in the back end of things. Vision of Zosimos is not being quite so tight-lipped. They're talking about it a little bit more, but just... they are actually saying that the game might be gone forever, Visions of Zosimos, whereas the repopulation just delayed a patch and is sort of waiting and seeing. So good luck.
Stupid name, by the way.
The repopulation or Vision of Zosimos?
Zosimos.
Yeah, yeah.
It's fun to say, isn't it?
Yeah.
Zosimos.
All right. So good luck to
like
both of those companies. Hope we get anything. And if you know anything about this and want to fill us in, we'd love to hear about it. Harry, there's some stuff going on with Guild Wars 2, isn't there?
Apparently there is, yeah. They are introducing player versus player leagues, which means they're... excuse me. They are entering the esports realm and having actual competitions for actual money for structured PvP. Guild Wars 2 has two forms of player versus player. One is world versus world, which is follow the Zerg and take over castles, and the other one is team-based, more like Battlegrounds, more like a MOBA type system. And it's the MOBA type that allows you to enter in several tiers of competition, from amber to gold, if memory serves. At least there are several colors that signify your level. And at the end of the season, there is a money prize. First place will win $10,000, and it's a very interesting setup because they are actually even higher. The first place team will win $50,000. Anyway, a lot of money if you're good enough, and you have to enter in a team of 5 to be able to compete. So it's not possible to queue up on your own and compete. You have to have an actual team, which makes perfect sense because this is a team-based esport.
Right. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Yep. I think this is fantastic, but I have seen a lot of not a lot, but a significant amount of negativity on forums
on an MMO forum
and on Reddit about the move into esports by Guild Wars 2 and the worry that will dilute the PvE experience or the development of the PvE experience. I disagree with that, but it's out there.
I don't understand that too. I mean, this is not like it's a secret either. Guild Wars has been dancing around the whole esports thing for a long time.
Yeah.
They've been really pushing the other tournaments that they've had and trying to make a big deal out of it. This is just the first time that they're actually doing like a full season sponsored prize awarding thing, and I think this is. I don't know. I think it's brilliant. I mean, you've got people who there are so many people that only play Guild Wars 2 for the PvP anyway. Why not carve off a piece for them? Give them some tangible rewards. Create a spectacle around it. That kind of thing. This is how you get attention to your game, and it's 100%. I don't even understand how you could say that it's at the expense of anything else. It's a piece of the game that is almost insular in how it's played. I don't see. I mean, unless people are actually trying to do like resource management over at ArenaNet, saying, "Why is that guy on PvP? He should be fixing my armor bug." Yeah. I don't know. That to me is just that's just I don't know. I hate that argument.
But I hate the internet. I mean, there is just people don't. There is a group, a small group of very loud people who disagree with anything that's different than it was yesterday. Anything. Oh my God, the date changed. This is the time. I'm sorry, but it's true. There is.
How dare they reuse Monday?
Why can't it
I swear it was just 7 days ago.
Why can't it be today every day?
Yeah. Why do I have to become older and I'm still alone in my mother's basement? Damn it.
Well, speaking of change here, if this does do really well, and there are some pretty big numbers, like especially with like Twitch streams and stuff of this happening, do you think that other MMOs are going to be following suit as well?
Well, actually, esports and tournaments are nothing new. Actually, Guild Wars 2
right. But does World of Warcraft do this already, or have they done a big one?
Oh yeah,
of course. They
okay.
I was at BlizzCon. They had a finale of the actual World of Warcraft battles, and they're doing the same thing with Heroes of the Storm and other. This is a big thing. Esports and player versus player in MMOs is becoming esport more and more, and World of Warcraft is one of the biggest out there.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I'm wondering if other MMOs would do this, especially some older ones will do it.
Well, not all MMOs have the player base or the attention to the structured PvP as World of Warcraft has. WoW has a very well-developed and very thorough community of seasons of people playing for money and also for the season rewards. And Guild Wars 2, as Bill said, has been working towards this ever since launch. I don't know if you guys remember it, but you actually had to pay real money to be able to enter the real tournament in Guild Wars 2 when it launched, because you had to buy these tickets for it. Remember that? Very weird system that didn't work, obviously, because you don't want to just... It almost feels like going to a slot machine or something. This is a much better system to actually make it more serious. But they were working... They were... Real money was involved in Guild Wars 2 player versus player from day one.
Yep. All right, we're going to move things along. Thank you very much, Mr. Harry Hall. We're going to talk real quickly about our sponsors, Audible. Go to audiblepodcast.com/MMO Reporter and sign up to get a subscription with a 1 book per month token that you get. Go check it out, audiblepodcast.com/MMO Reporter. Help support the podcast network. And go to doghousesystems.com. Use coupon code MMO Reporter to get the added bonus of a 120 gig SSD with your purchase. So a great way to add to your computer purchase. Go check them out, doghousesystems.com.
And make you understand you can't out-threat the tank. Just pew pew and think you'll last the fight.
Will, you have got some information coming out of a younger audience-based game called Dragamon Hunter.
Yeah.
Just coming out some different stuff.
So for those of you that aren't aware, Dragamon Hunter's a relatively new game. It's popped up on Steam just within the last few days, if I remember correctly. It's an anime MMO that's basically what the story that we're kind of latching onto for it is that it's an anime MMO that's adding huge battles to the game. So it's basically creating a 300 versus 300 arena type battles, which it's really hard to even put a scale on that. Like, I'm trying to think of battles that I've had in, like, the biggest Zerg mashes that you've ever seen in your life are probably 100 to 150 people, maybe on each side, kind of just bashing into each other, and usually one mowing down the other pretty handily. This is doubling the biggest that I can even imagine. So I'm having a hard time scaling this. Now, Chris, you said that you've actually played this game a little bit here. Mm-hmm. What's your take on the PvP piece of this and how it fits into the game itself?
Well, I actually haven't played the PvP part of it at all. I've actually played the PvE with my kids. And it's an interesting game based around the idea of collecting Dragamon, kind of like Pokemon sort of idea, but the Dragamon are basically mounts that you collect out in the world, and you can make your own housing and stuff like that. So I'm
Spider Mount.
You can actually get a Spider Mount, yes. Do you want one, Harry?
No, I'm fine.
Okay.
I do.
Just checking.
I'm good.
Then you should be playing Dragamon Hunter later.
I'm downloading it right now.
There you go. I've been playing it with my kids. It's very kid-friendly. So this idea of having these huge PvP battles seems incredibly out of place to me. So I'm really interested to see how it works, to see whether it's this free-for-all, whether it's objective-based in the end. It's a lot of people to put in one place, but I think the graphics are simple enough that it's not going to kill any sort of computer.
Do you think this is a game that's kind of targeted at kids, or is it just a kid-friendly game that still falls into the typical?
It has enough depth.
Youngish to 30-ish gamer crowd.
It has enough depth that I don't think it is a kid's game. I just think it's kid-friendly. It has enough depth that it's a little too much depth for my kids who are, just getting to the double digits ages.
Yeah.
So,
because I was just trying to think about that in the context of PvP. I mean, we always think of PvP, or at least I do, as this is like the He-Man area of MMOs, that only the toughest of the tough go and consistently participate in PvP, because if you die in PvP, that's just vicious, and if you kill someone, you're mighty.
Yeah.
Is that maybe not the case here? Like, is this just a game mode that if it's like throwing 600 12-year-olds into the ball pit and see who comes out?
Actually, that's a game I would like to see, yeah.
Ball Pit Mayhem on the MMO Reporter Network.
600 kids enter, only one comes out.
You know what? On a very sad note, I did work at McDonald's in my high school years, and I had to clean many a peed in ball pits.
Oh.
I remember I was in a McDonald's a long time ago, and there was this married couple there, actually in full wedding garb, and they were taking pictures of the bride and groom in the ball pit, and I was standing at the counter, and the girl behind the counter said, if they only knew what I took out of that ball pit yesterday.
Yep. Kids are known to leave little presents in there.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyways.
But to have your wedding in a McDonald's is a whole sad thing.
That's its own thing on its own. I had never seen that in any of the time I worked there.
Well, this is the Netherlands.
That's true. So if any of you play Dragamon and are excited about this PvP battle, let us know what you think.
One little the fact that it looks anime and it looks kid friendly doesn't mean a whole thing, because it's an Asian style game and Asian tastes are decidedly different, and a lot of 30-something guys will play with princess style games over there. It's a very different way. Here we have the tendency to scream kitty at something that looks pretty.
Let me put it this way: the story is closer to Skylanders than it is to WoW. How's that?
Yeah, but
so it's a simpler approach to the game. There's some depth there if you go digging for it, but it's a very, I don't know how else to describe it. It doesn't have a lot of depth in its
when I was in Taiwan many years ago, and I was exposed to a game called Dream Drops, which was it almost looks like confectionery, so sweet, with fairy tale characters and fairy tales gone awry. And if I looked at that, I thought this is something for 12-year-old girls. And I asked the developers who this was aimed for in the West, and they said, well, yeah, just adults. I mean, people 20, 30, 40 will play this in Japan, so why not in the West? And that's what I mean. It's they have a very different sense of what is appropriate for different age groups than we have. So even if you say the story is more like Skylanders, it doesn't mean that in Asia it was designed for younger people.
All right, let's move on to our quick mentions. Bill, I'm sure you are very excited. Rocket League's getting hockey-themed arena. Woo!
You know, Rocket League is on my list. This is the game I'm going to sit down and play during my Christmas holidays.
Are you excited,
I have to buy it first. It's actually on sale right now as we're recording. And
don't
it's
be
really
a hoser. Buy it.
Yeah. So.
After you get your double
talking all of a sudden. Wow.
That would be cool. I wonder if you can get like studded tires for the hockey arena.
Oh, that'd be really
cheating.
skookum.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Rocket League is
There's all my Canadian dialogue. Rocket League, very worth it. Very worth any money that you spend on it.
Didn't you get it for free in the...
I did, PS Plus.
That was one of the best deals they ever put out because it's a hell of a game.
Yep. Then again, I also got the Tomb Raider reboot on Xbox Live free. So that was well worth it too. Okay.
For the 360 probably.
No, for Xbox One.
Oh, yeah, actually, the good one. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Play it. It's fun.
I started. I just don't have time. I've got other stuff to do. Last but not least, Final Fantasy XIV is offering 96 hours of game time to former players, 4 days, but they are not 4 consecutive days. 96 total hours will be available to you if you are a former Final Fantasy XIV player who has had a valid account in the past and has been had no valid subscription for at least 30 days. You can go back in and spend some time in Final Fantasy XIV.
That means I can play for an infinite amount of time because I'm not
In
playing
December.
Oh,
in December.
Only in the month of December.
Yes.
So after December, those hours. Damn it!
Yes.
There's always a catch, isn't there?
Yes.
Because I would just play 1 hour a day, and that would be more than I've played ever.
And that would be 96 days. But no, you could play 1 hour a day for 30 days, and then you would be 1/3 of the way through the hours you can get.
How does it work out? I mean, 96. Let's say
4 days.
let's say 7 hours of productive time a day.
Yeah.
So that would be 96.
Oh, I'm getting
Divided by
flashbacks of
6.
AOL discs.
That would be 16 full days of gameplay
There you go.
in December,
There you go.
and we're already on December 4th.
You sound really sad.
Yeah, actually.
All right. That is
That's
our quick
okay.
mentions for the day. Lenore, why don't you let people know how they can contact us?
Sure, they can go to our website at mmoreporter.com. They can email us at mmo.reporter@gmail.com. They can check us out on Facebook, and they can also Twitter all of us. You can MMO Reporters is MMO_reporter, Harry Hall for Harry Hall, Leonor, and MMO Bill for Bill. Our voicemail is 616-666-6778. Our YouTube channel is MMO Reporter Network, and we have a Patreon which is also, surprisingly enough, named MMO Reporter. And you can also support us at mmoreporter.com/support. I almost said MMOreporter.com/MMO Reporter.
Which would be cool, actually. Redundancy is redundant.
We should get that.
It's redundant to say redundancy about redundancies.
Reruns.
Yes. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Leonor, for a fantastic show. Sorry, I was thinking about redundancies.
Yep. No problem, Chris.
I'm going to
Chris
thank
on.
Leonor. So thank you, Leonor, for accepting my thanks.
Woo!
Harry, as always, an absolute pleasure to record with you.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun again.
And Bill, exceedingly tolerable.
You know what? I survived the whole thing.
You did. Good job. Well done. And hey, all of you out there who listen to the podcast or watch the video on YouTube, thanks so much. Make sure that you leave a comment. Let us know what you think, like the episode on YouTube, and just all around, let us know what you thought about what we discussed. We sure appreciate you taking the time to watch and listen to the show. We hope that you listen to next week's show, but most importantly, we hope to see you in game.
Forget about your old shoe, need to cherish each and every little character you've got, no matter what level they're at. Don't forget about your old shoe, need to cherish each and every little character you've got, no matter what level.
Thanks for watching the video, everybody. Don't forget to check out all the other podcasts at MMOreporter.com or by clicking on any of the links here. And please check out our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MMOreporter. Thanks, everyone, and see you in game.